you can see, I've got a few things going here. So I wanted to just take you through some of my food prep. So went shopping, brought everything home, and I've done a little bit of preparing. I like to have some things ready and good to go in the fridge, but I don't always necessarily prepare a lot of stuff ahead of time because I don't know what I'm gonna feel like having. But I definitely need to have some go-tos that are very handy so that if I run into a time crunch, that I can whip something up relatively easy. So I'm going to walk you through some of that. So if you saw my video earlier, you know that when I went to the market, I got some Swiss chard. And that's right here. And so what I've done is I've cut it. Now you can, when you do the Swiss chard, you know, take off the stem in the middle and just use the greens. I use everything. I just take off the very ends of the bottom, sometimes the very top if it looks a little ratty and worn. And then I just, I kind of roll it up and then I just chop it into this. And what I love is this. This is one of my handy tools in the kitchen. I've had it for forever. It is just a salad spinner. There's all kinds of ones out there. So what I did, and I also did that with my romaine lettuce here. That's right in there. I fill it up, you know, obviously I chop it, I put it in here. I love this because when my lettuce or my greens or whatever it is are in here, I put it in the sink and I actually start with a little bit of warm water. Warm and cold mix, but mostly warm, not really hot, but warm, because if there's anything attached to the greens, I want it to come off. So I start with that, I let the water fill up, and then I kind of pull it out, and then the water that's in there is usually like really green, and maybe silty or whatever it might be, especially if you're using escarole, which usually has a lot of sand kind of down in the bottom. So anyway, I do that, empty it out, put it back in, fill it back in. I probably do a second wash with a little bit of lukewarm water again. Do that, again, pull it out, empty out the water, put it back in. And I don't do the the spinning part for that, I just, because I'm washing it. And then I might do that 3 or 4 times. It depends upon how clean. Usually I try to get organic. Even organic, you've got to wash it. I don't trust it. I wash it anyway. So I do that until the water's clear. Then when the water's clear, or it gets to being, I start using the cold water. I rinse it again, fill it up, let it drain. Let me go back over here for a second because this is some quinoa. I'm going to be making a recipe, and I'll share it with you later, probably in a separate video, of a quinoa salad from the Ultimate Reset. So I wanted to get the quinoa cooking because you use cooked quinoa for it. So I've done that now, and I'm going to lower this because I want it to keep to a light boil. And there we go. I'm going to cover it. So I'm going to just put that down on low, and that's going to go for like 20-25 minutes. On its own in a light boil, which it's got going on right there. Maybe move that up a touch. And we'll come back to that at another time, but it was boiling back there and I needed to make sure I took care of it. So anyway, that's what I did. I did that with the romaine and I did it with the Swiss chard. So this, you know, if you have a salad spinner, it's awesome. You don't have to. You can rinse and wash and rinse and wash. But then I like to dry it, and I like it to dry out really well. Before I bag it and put it in the fridge. And then my process after that is really very simple. I usually just use a baggie, fill it up, put it in here. I usually take a paper towel, and I'm going to just leave that there for now. I'll take a paper towel, that's why I put that on top of there. Maybe cut it in half because I'll use that for each of these. And I fold it up. So if there's any excess moisture in this, in these greens, when I put this in here, then that paper towel can absorb it. It's really very simple. You see that? And that's going to go in the fridge. Now I can make this as a saute with breakfast, with some eggs. I can do it as part of a soup. I can do it as part of a stir fry. I can do it on its own. I mean, you can do so many different things. I love Swiss chard. It's so good. You can do a nice saute with some garlic and a touch of olive oil. You could steam it. There's just so many things that you can do. And that is simple and easy food prep. So let me just put that in my little trash thing there, okay? So that's going to be ready to go into the fridge. And I don't seal it completely. I always just leave a little bit of air in it just so it can breathe. And I'll show you a couple of other things I've done here too, because I wanted to get some things prepped and ready, throw them in the fridge, and I'm done. You saw that I had a head of organic cauliflower before. All I did was cut it all up, put it in a baggie. That's going to go into the fridge. I'm going to put these over here so I can get them out of the way. I also had some asparagus. Now this is asparagus that I already had in the fridge, so I'm keeping it separate because I'm going to use this first. When I went to the market this morning, I bought 2 more bunches of asparagus. All I did was cut off the ends. These are not washed. I don't want any additional moisture in here, and I didn't want to take the time to wash them, lay them all out, let everything dry. I'll wash them before I use them. So that's my asparagus. We go through a lot of asparagus. We love it. So that's that. I showed you earlier in the video earlier, I had bought some spinach and kale, or some kale chicken sausages, kale and chicken sausages. So I have those here, and I'm actually going to cook them up today. And I'm going to make those with some red pepper and onions, and I'll show you that in a second, but I'm going to show you this first. So there's the sausages. I just took them out of the package. I lined them in here. I did take a touch of olive oil, put that in, and a little bit of water. I put some water in there. And then what I did with the sausages, with the toothpick, and I've already done all of these, but I'm just showing you because I don't want them to burst. That's it. So I decided to do economy of scale here, and I also had some chicken thigh that I got. Chicken thighs needs, to just have sometimes a lot more flavor. We love them on the grill. They're prepared very simply. Again, in the bottom of the pan, I put a touch of olive oil and water, so that's how I'm cooking these. The chicken thighs have some Himalayan sea salt, and I actually used some of the, it's just an Italian seasoning, and I put a little bit of that over it, and then some lemon. I had some lemon left over from the salmon we had the other night, so I took a nice squeeze of that, put that over that. That's simple, easy, ready to go, and that's going to cook up. I'm going to portion those out and put them in the fridge so that we can use them for a meal once they're cooked later in the week. So now we're coming to our, the meatballs that I'm going to make. And I'll just show you this. I'm going to move this off to the side because I don't want it out here when I'm using the ground turkey. So this, again, is my romaine lettuce that's been cut and washed thoroughly with my salad spinner, and I layered it a little bit just to try to get some of the moisture out of it still, even though it dries the lettuce. Usually I'll lay it out flat like I did that, the Swiss chard, but I just wanted to make things easier for you to see. So I'm going to keep this here because then I'm going to bag this like that other stuff, and then that's going to go in the fridge. So when I'm ready on Sunday night to get our lunches packed for Monday, really simple. I'll already have my lettuce all done. I just take out my containers and start making my salads. I build my salads, put them in the fridge, and then they're good to go for lunches during the week. So I'm going to put this right over here, get that out of the way. And that's that. I'm also going to show you a dressing. I'm going to show you how I'm preparing my meatballs as well, my turkey meatballs. And before I get to that, I wanted to get my peppers ready. They're going to go with that chicken and kale sausage at some point during the week. I'm not sure which night we're going to have them, but I'm going to have these peppers all cut and ready. I didn't cut the onion. If I have some time later on this weekend, I might do it, or I might just wait and do it that night. It'll be easy to do. There are 2 red bell peppers here and a green bell pepper. But actually, I digress. There's 2+ in here. This actually is 5 cups. So if you're counting out the green, this is the rest of it. That now makes my 2 red bell peppers and my green, and that actually makes 5 of the green cups from the 21-day fix. So that's good to go, and that's going to go in the fridge all ready for me to use for whatever I want. If we're doing a stir fry or something else, I can use that for that. as part of what I'm making for the turkey meatballs, I'm using another red bell pepper. I use a lot of red bell pepper, but I'm only using half of it. So I took the other half and I just sliced it and then sliced it in half because they're good size red bell peppers. If you make a microgreen salad or some other salad and you want to add some greens to it, or some vegetables to it, this is great to have these already cut up. You want to make a little vegetable platter as part of a snack. You got these all set and ready to go. I like to keep a little baggie with some of these handy because they're easy. Like I said, Sunday night I'll just take out the stuff I need, make my salads, and I'm good to go. So that's all set, ready to go. So what I started with here is my bread. And I used actually the end piece and 3 pieces of just a multi-grain bread. I read the ingredients. I don't care really about the nutritional facts. I'm more concerned with what's in what we're eating. So make sure you read the ingredients. I don't like you'll see stuff that says enriched whole wheat. Well, that's really not whole wheat. It's enriched. So obviously they're adding other stuff to that to make it whole wheat. In any event, I don't use it. I don't buy it. I use something when it says whole wheat. That's what I'll use. And then that's the main ingredient is whole wheat and then water. It has wheat gluten. Oh goodness, I can't even read all the sunflower seeds, rolled wheat, steel cut oats. Of fiber and honey, and it does have some brown sugar, and it can then 2% of the following. It doesn't have a lot of other ingredients after it. So this is the one I got, and I put that in here and I ground it up. So I'm just going to move this to the side. That's good to go. So now I'm going to put together our turkey meatballs, right? So this is 2 pounds of ground turkey, and I'm going to add this, but before I do that, I need to get all this other stuff ready, and I need to soak. Okay, there we go. Technical difficulties. So I'm going to get a bowl, which I didn't plan ahead of time, and I should have, but didn't, but that's okay, because we're going to just improvise as we go along here, because I'm going to add water to this. I do that when I make my regular meatballs. Here's my breadcrumbs, so to speak. I'd rather use fresh and make my own. Now, you saw in my shopping list earlier that I bought some gluten-free. So if I'm in a pinch and I don't have any bread in the house, because we don't always buy bread, I've got my gluten-free. Once you open them, I put them in the fridge. But here we go. That's pretty simple, pretty easy. But I don't want to add it to them or to my meat like this. I want to put some water in first. So I'm going to just grab one of these. It's some distilled water. We're using it for the 21-day fix. And I don't exactly know how much that's going to take, but I want it to absorb this. So let's see what that looks like. Because as soon as I let this sit for a bit, that's going to absorb that water. I do this when I make my meatballs, my regular meatballs, my Italian style meatballs. I might have put a little too much water, but I'm going to let it sit. I also do this if I'm using those gluten-free breadcrumbs, or if I was using regular breadcrumbs. I add water. You could add milk. I've done that before too. I've even done almond milk, but I'm not crazy about the almond milk flavor, putting it into a meatball, so I don't really use it. But I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, and I'm going to put this back on, and I'm not concerned about cleaning it because it's all going to the same place. Put that in, and I'm going to use this because I want to shred my carrot. So, get that in there. Put this little top right back on. There we go. We should be in business now. Where's my carrot? So I just peeled one carrot. Hopefully you're going to be able to hear as we go on here. Oh, well, it would be nice if I pulled that out, right? So I'm shredding this. And that's going to just shred it down. I'm also doing a zucchini. Shredding that as well. Oh, that's just working beautifully, isn't it? Look at that. Going right down. Getting all this nice stuff. And you can do those little mini meatloaves. I've got some onion. I'm actually just going to throw a bunch in here. And it's going right down. There we go. I want to I have some garlic and some shallots. Love garlics and shallots. Give it some nice flavor. Look at that. Oh, it smells so good. And the last thing I'm going to put in here is a little bit of red bell pepper. Let's see. Let's see if I can do these. There's going to be a lot of moisture going in here. Okay. And that'll kind of go up. Okay, that's good. That's it. Simple. Easy. All done. We're going to have some that goes on the top here that didn't go through. I'm not that worried about it. I can chop it up and put it in there if I want, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Look at that. Very easy. And just put it right in there because that's where it's all going, right? And I'm going to take this out. Put that right in the sink. Could actually clean off that whole thing and use all of that too. All right, and that's it. Look at that. All those nice veggies that are going to go right in here. And that's really going to increase the volume of this. So these meatballs that I'm making, I can do a couple of things with them. I don't have to make them all as meatballs. I could do a little meat loaf if I want to. I can do some meatballs and some meatloaf. I could do those little mini meatloafs that you've seen me make numerous times in various videos. There's all kinds of great things that we could do. But it's just going to get all mixed in here. And of course my hands are going to get in there in just a minute. And I shredded this all so it gives it a little more definition, a little more depth. I think with these meatballs this week, so we're doing these wonderful meatballs, right? And actually I think my video might have ended before I finished the batch, so I want to tell you some of what I put in there in addition to the vegetables that we had mixed in. I added some Parmesan cheese. I added a little bit of the Italian seasoning, some sea salt and black pepper, and I actually added a little bit more bread. I mixed up a little more and put that in there because they were still a little too soupy. These you can see are meatballs that have not been put in the oven yet, and those are going to go in, and I made 2 little meatloaves, and then these are the cooked ones, and I cut into this and I actually ate a half of it. It is absolutely delicious. They came out so nice. They're perfectly moist. And this is our kale and chicken sausages. They're all cooked. And then chicken thighs. I'm going to let these cool, package them up, put them in the fridge, and then we'll have them for the week. I'm going to cook more of these, and some of these will get put into the freezer for the course of the week and next week. And then I will be back and I'll tell you a couple of other things that we're mixing up together today. So the next thing that I want to show you is actually a very easy recipe or what I use for my salad dressing. And I just mixed it up a little while ago, and I actually did it on camera, but it shut off, and so it didn't film it. So I'm just going to tell you what I put in here because I have everything still out. There is some olive oil, a little bit of red wine vinegar, and there was, well, it's not here. Oh, here it is. I'm like looking right at it. And there's fresh lemon. I added a little bit of Himalayan sea salt, a touch of black fresh ground pepper, and then I added some of this, Italian seasoning. Put that all in here. Actually, if you don't have a little container, I got this because it will fit easy in the door to my fridge. What will do the trick, and what I've actually mixed it up in, is a mason jar. Just put everything in the mason jar. And essentially what I believe I put in here was about a half a cup of olive oil, which is in here, about a half a cup of olive oil, and there is a close to a well, almost 2 lemons, the juice from 2 lemons, probably 1 3/4 of a lemon, and then there's about 1/4 of a cup of red wine vinegar, and then I just added, you know, a little bit of the seasoning and some sea salt, and then I tasted it to see if it was seasoned the way I wanted it, and it was. It's perfect. It's ready to go. I can mix it up when I'm ready to use it, pour it into whatever container I'm serving it in, or on the salad. And I wanted to share with you a quick tip that I did this week. I had no time. Didn't have time to prepare and do this, which only really takes a few minutes, but I was doing the salads real quick, and love these little things. They're in a little, you can just buy them. They've got the little covers that go with them. And I actually made the salad dressing right in. I just poured a little bit of olive oil. I put a little bit of the red wine vinegar. I put a little bit of lemon juice. What I'm going to do with this lemon juice is actually put it in a little container and put it in the fridge. And then I use it for things like this, to put it over vegetables, to do it in dressings. And I mix them right up. I put the covers in, and then I put them in my salads. And it's just so simple and easy to do. But I like to have it prepared ahead of time if I can. So then when it's time to make my salads, usually, you know, on Sunday night or the night before, you know, after dinner, I pack my lunch for the next day. And if I'm doing a salad, then I do that, and I can put this in the little containers, and we're good to go. And so that's just one of the other recipes that I was putting together. There's some great recipes in any program book that you're doing. And on the Fixate, if you have on demand, go on the Fixate cooking show is on there, and they've got some great recipes there too. There's a really nice, I think it's a creamy Greek in the Ultimate Reset. There's a number of them. So if you have any questions or anything, just reach out, let me know, and I will be happy to give you some suggestions. But we like it very simple. We really like just olive oil and lemon juice. And lately, I don't know, I've just been kind of adding a little bit of red wine vinegar. Show you a couple of things real quick before I get into the next few things that I'm going to be making. The quinoa is all done. I made a big batch of it. I'm going to be making actually a quinoa salad, and I'll show you how I assemble that, but I need the cooked quinoa to do that, and I'm letting this cool a little bit. So that's there. I also boiled a dozen hard-boiled eggs. All I do is I put the eggs in the pan, I filled the water up to cover it, set it to boil without the cover on. I actually added a little bit of distilled white wine vinegar, just a touch to that. Let it boil for a couple of minutes, turned the heat off, put the cover on, and that's been sitting there. It's actually almost to room temp now. I'll be taking those out. I'll peel them. I'll put them in a little container in the refrigerator, and then can portion them out during the week. Again, it's a great healthy snack. It goes with the salad. There's so much you can do. Two large eggs is a red container, which is a protein, or 8 large egg whites. So if you want it as a snack, if you want it as to add to a salad or whatever, that's another easy, quick go-to, and it's a great snack. What else? I think that's it for now. I showed you a little while ago the kale and chicken sausages are cooling, along with our meatloafs, our little meatballs, and the rest of them are in the oven, and those are cooking. And I made a couple of like little mini meat loaves, and those are in there. What I'm going to probably come back and prepare next will be these amazing muffins.